I am running 100 miles off just 90 days of training, and I might die. We are going couch to 100 to prove that it is possible. In order to do this, I had to bring in the best of the best across the board, from running coach, nutrition, training, all of the above. So today I'm bringing in Jeffrey Delaney so we can go through carb loading, nutrition, hydration before the race, to set the foundation to hopefully prevent any injuries, any hospitalizations, and most of all, not dying. On May 16th, I'm going to be running 100 miles, the Keys 100 Ultra Marathon, from the top of Key Largo to the bottom of Key West. It's going to be probably close to 100 degrees from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 90 days ago, I was not running at all. Now, I'm about 2 weeks out from a 100-mile race in extreme heat, extreme conditions. In order to do this, I have to bring in the best of the best across the board, from running coaches, shout out Brady McDonald, to nutrition, to fitness, to hydration, all of it across the board. So today we are bringing in Jeffrey Delaney of T Clinics USA and Nuviva. So Jeff, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it and I need it very much. So where do we start?
What made you go 0 to 100 in 90 days?
A couple of reasons. One, we are doing it for a fundraiser. My goal is to raise money for children in poverty across the globe. Schools, churches, food, infrastructure, all of the above. And secondary to that, I just want to show people it's possible, man. Like the human body's crazy. And I think people underestimate how much they can do in how little of a time. And I'm a big believer in 90 to 120 day blocks. You can pretty much get anything done. The human body is super adaptable. So this is an experiment. And if I'm going to say it, might as well test it on myself, right?
Let's go. Well, so you obviously have been training. We're a couple weeks out. We've already set a lot of your nutrition for training, hydration, supplements. The peak week is where that race is going to either be kind of cut short, not finished, or make it to the finish line and not die.
Right.
So, going into, I think a lot of times endurance athletes think they got to carb up, and I'm going to carb up a day before, and that's fine for like a smaller event. But for what you're about to do, we have to make sure you're coming out of the gate starting with full glycogen stores, electrolytes balance. You have every hydration perfect, because it's going to get messed up, especially in Florida. It's so hot. That's going to be probably the hardest thing for you, is making sure that we're keeping you hydrated. You're not cramping up. You don't end up with rhabdo. We definitely have to set the plan. And if you do it right, I think you might make it, not die. So, it's going to come down to probably mental, willpower. So, let's kind of get into the plan. Let's talk about race week, peak week. So, going into race week, a lot of people in endurance sports think they need to carb up. And I already said it like a couple days before. It takes 40 to 72 hours to set glycogen and let it be there. So I've always liked to set people's glycogen early in the week, get it full, maintain it, top it off. And then you're starting with everything, full glycogen stores, full electrolytes good. So we're going to maximize glycogen. We're going to try to keep inflammation down. We're using some things like BPC 157, which is going to be crucial. Staying loose, obviously, that week, lock in the hydration electrolytes, which we're going to lay out on this plan. And then, just making sure that you're ready to roll. So this actually, we're going to adjust some of this, but I know Brady's been, shout out to Brady. Brady's been doing a lot of your programming, your blocks, everything that you're doing. Is he who motivated you to kind of bite this off as far as 100, or?
No, I actually already signed this up when I went to him, but when he did the 300 recently, he was explaining to me that from a training perspective, like whether you're going to run 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, it's all the same training. So I basically just went on his training plan with him, and then now continue it on. So with the gut and the feeling, I think, and especially what me and Brady talk about a lot, is the gut and fueling strategy is going to be what makes or breaks this whole race. Again, like the human body can go 100 miles if you fuel it properly and you have the mindset to be able to finish it. And even in like this training on the long runs with the fueling, it is one of the hardest things. It's probably the hardest part for me of this training, is to like figure out what my stomach will accept, when I got to eat, how much I got to eat. Because even when we talk, like, you can't get it to the point where you're hungry or where you're thirsty. Like, you have to be proactive with it in order for your body to hold up. So when your brain goes, like when you're 40 miles in, you have no thoughts coming out anymore. You still have to find a way to stay on top of eating every hour and fueling every hour. And I think that's why it's important to do something like this for anybody that's going to attempt this.
And you set something more than just completing it. Obviously, you have a bigger purpose of why you're doing this, which kind of will help you stay in the game and keep going. I thought about maybe getting back in and start training for a try, and then I had that second for thought for 3 seconds. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I give you credit, but let's go. I'll support you.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
thank you.
What I like to do, obviously, going into peak week, because you're going to be running on Saturday the 16th. Week out, you kind of, and some of your training might change per Brady, but a lot of times you'll do a mild, run 6 to 10 miles, a mild. Yeah. I don't think I could do 6 right now. Easy, moderate pace. Obviously, we're going to keep the nutrition the same. So our plan that we've already had in place, making sure we have glycogen, pretty much that's going to stay status quo for you. So we get into Monday. I don't know if he's set for you. I think you're supposed to be getting with him too on like peak week schedule as far as your training goes. And
so peak week wise, this is my peak week this week. This weekend, Saturday, I'm running 32. Sunday, I'm running 26, just to simulate the miles on with getting some rest in between. Besides that, like today, I'm going to run probably 10. Tomorrow, I'll do a power walk. So this is my peak week, which I'm already fueled for and carb for. Next week is when I start cutting down.
Yeah.
So
your volume's going to go down. And that's where that, like those lower mile runs might come in early in the week. Yep. So Monday, you're going to stick with his training unless you take a rest day. I usually keep your nutrition the same, but now what I like to start doing versus waiting till last minute to carb up on a Thursday or Friday, we're going to start carbing up early, set the foundation. And so we have a plan, laid out on here. And I don't know if you want to scroll to the Tuesday plan for him. Sorry for my chicken scratch. Mm-hmm. But on this day, I want this to be a day, and get with Brady on this, is a day where your activity is going to be nil.
So just for context, Tuesday will be 5 days out from the race. So starting 5 days out.
So what I want to do is, I want to highlight a couple things. Are you still doing the 3 grams beta alanine first thing in the morning?
No.
So we need to get that in. And I'll tell you, beta alanine basically prevents lactic acid from starting, and it takes them into get going. So we got a couple weeks, so you'll be good.
Okay.
Every morning, I'll send you the link to the one I like. Beta alanine is going to be crucial to kind of allow you to go further, longer. So we're going to make sure we have 3 grams beta alanine first thing every single morning from now till the race day. Okay. If we were within a week, I'd be like, it's kind of pointless to add it. But right now, it will be a game changer. Brady could attest to this. We added it. We didn't have it. I didn't only have I think less than 2 weeks with Brady on the Moab 240, but on the 300 Arizona, we were able to get it in, and it definitely helps.
Okay.
So the goal is to just delay it from even starting the muscle. Obviously, when lactic acid builds up, you start dying. Yeah. So, I'm going to kind of set your gut right too. So I'm going to give you some of these Ultra Cleanse that's going to clean out your gut. It has just more natural supplements that are going to help you go to the restroom. It shouldn't give you diarrhea or anything like that. But the reason I do this is I want to get the gut clean. And then we're going to be putting a ton of food into the gut, and we need to make sure that we're moving that food through. So I'll have you do 1 in the morning, 2 at night, always beta alanine in the morning from now moving forward, 3 grams. On your carbs, I like to do solely just carbohydrates, no protein, no fat. We're just driving carbs into the muscle. I put you at 1.5 times saturation, which is going to get you about 700 carbs for the day.
Damn.
And so I'd like this day to be low activity, you're just going to sit back and load the muscle up.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to be a blob.
So cereal, I do like more personally rice-based. And this is where I also the types of food that you digest well. If you got somebody that can do fine with bread and stuff, cool. Yep. But if it's something that you're not used to, let's not change it up. I stick with the same foods that you respond well to. Personally, like cereal, rice-based cereal, flavored like Rice Chex, Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles. You could do rice, which I love, potato, sushi, even on that. Sushi. So that could be go get a sushi roll. Usually per piece is about 10 grams of carbs, and it's a little more dense. Yeah. No fat. Because I don't want to slow down the digestion of that. We're just going to drive, and we're going to put more than your body needs to try to saturate the muscle.
And I can use Carbolin to
Yeah.
replace some of this?
You can if you want. I personally would try to stay whole foods on
Whole
this
foods?
day
Okay.
because you're going to see as we go, you're going to have more carbon and stuff. So, yeah, but you got to remember you're not going to have protein
Yeah.
and you're not going to have fats.
Okay.
So you will be hungry by the next meal. We'll have to set your time per your day to make sure you get, 7 meals at 100 grams of carbohydrates.
Okay.
This is super important starting on Tuesday, and I would say forever, but 3 times a day, I want you doing a drink with, you're going to wake up with 20 ounces of water, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda helps buffer lactic acid. So when it starts, it kind of delays it from taking full effect. That was a huge game changer for Brady on
Yeah,
the
he told me
240 and on the 300. So one, we're going to try to prevent it from even picking up. And then the other one, we're going to buffer it as it like starts. We're going to keep it at bay.
Okay.
So you'll be able to run further, longer, you know, and not just peter out.
Okay. So Tuesday is 700 grams of carbs over 7 meals split up throughout the day. No protein, no fats.
On this day, no protein, no fats, just straight carbohydrates.
Okay.
You're going to have some trace stuff, but I'm not like, I don't want you to put a chicken breast in it with it or add some fat source, no MCT oil or anything like that.
Is that because adding protein in reduces the absorption of the carbs?
So you got to remember like digestion wise. So, when you eat protein, it's harder for your body to break it down. So it delays how fast you could digest.
Okay.
So I want quick, good digesting carbohydrates in here. Fats, usually when I have high carbs, I like low fat because with fat present, I don't want to like put fat on. So we'll have the 7 meals, but this is a big one. 3 times a day, starting from Tuesday, you're going to have the electrolytes, the water, and you said you're using Tailwind.
Tailwinds.
But Tailwind has carbs in it, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's fine. You can just add it over
Add it
top.
in.
It will top off the tank. So,
I can get something else. If
you could do like LMNT,
I like
any
LMNT.
of those. I actually have a bunch of packets I could give you too. But I want the water, the electrolytes, the baking soda 3 times a day. So we'll do it pretty much every day until we get into race day. And then we'll talk about a little bit more detailed. End of the day, I want 2 of the Ultra Cleanse to make sure we get a good bowel movement the next morning. You're good to go. So,
And with the Ultra Cleanse, no need to do MCT oil?
no.
Okay.
No, that's just as Cascara, burdock. It has a little bit of senna in it. All things has some activated charcoal to clean out the gut. It's just going to kind of keep things moving, especially. Last thing you want to do is the goal is to load up. And to load up, unless you're doing like liquid carbs, you're gonna have a bunch of food moving through the gut. My goal is by the end of the week get a lot of that food moved out, so you feel light, even though your muscles are glycogen loaded.
And would it be helpful to do any like walking on these days, or kind of just go nothing?
Yeah, so on this day, like low intense, like if you want to walk, like after the meal to help digest it, that's fine.
Okay.
Like I said, but I do like on your initial day that we're trying to really saturate, I want your activity. So get with Brady and just maybe that's a day you're, and most
Mondays
likely,
are my rest days anyways.
yeah, when this is Tuesday, he might flip flop.
True. Okay.
So
fair enough. Yep.
And then I'm okay you getting back to whatever he needs you to do on Wednesday, Thursday. Most likely that's going to be it. Something light. Friday probably doesn't have you doing hardly
Nothing.
anything.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. So on May 13th, which is Wednesday, I'm going to hit you at saturation. So roughly about 484 grams of carbs. That's going to come out to 80 grams of carbs per meal, 20 grams protein. I did give you a cool little swap sheet that you could use.
Okay.
That shows you like if you're trying to go for like 30 grams of protein, it shows you the measurement per the protein food. Carbohydrates, depending on the gram you're trying to get, it'll give you the measurement. Fat, same thing. Okay. So,
and just again for context, this is 5 days out
yeah, well,
for the race, right?
So
4 days out?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's 3 days right here. So it was 4 days, 3 days.
4 days, 3 days. Okay.
Yeah. So on here, we're going to shoot for about 20 grams of protein, 80 grams of carbs. Still keep it like the better digesting, faster carbohydrates, rice, cereal, potato, stuff like that. Beta alanine first thing in the morning, 3 grams. Start the day with that. As far as your hydration, minimum, you should be getting more, but let's make sure you have at least 20 ounces 3 times a day with the baking soda and electrolytes. 1 Ultra Cleanse to make sure we move the food still. And then in the evening time, 2 Ultra Cleanse. So that's pretty much going to be when it comes to your food on Wednesday. I'm going to let you pick your carbohydrates, things that you digest well.
So what are the totals on this?
This is getting you closer to about, 480 carbs, give or take. So it's close to saturation. So muscle is basically 2.42 times lean body mass is a ballpark saturation number for glycogen that you could hold. So I tried to put you above saturation 1.5 times. Now I'm putting you at saturation, and then you'll see it taper a little bit in the next couple of days. Okay. So I'm setting the glycogen early versus waiting till last minute to try to set the glycogen. Plus, it'll give me time to like hold it and then top it off, and then you're good to go. At least starting at the starting line. Sure. Now, what you do during the race, which we'll talk about, is going to be your make or break for sure for something like this. So on Thursday, May 14th, so now we're 2 days out from race day.
Yep.
I drop you down a little bit. I'm going 75% saturation for you, roughly about 363 grams of carbs. I put it at 60 grams per meal. We bump protein up a little bit because your carbs are going down. So 30 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat from the fat source. For fat, if you want, I like MCT oil. Okay. Plus it'll help you go to the restroom. Yeah. So let's start placing some MCT for some of those. I'm okay if you want to use like olive oil, but put maybe 1 or 2 MCTs in there.
I have a bottle of MCT. I could use that. So
MCT is a medium chain triglyceride. It's a fat that burns like a carbohydrate. So most like olive oil and flax, and some of those are long chain fatty acids that are harder to break down. MCT is almost like you put it in, your body could use it really, really quick. So a lot of times you get people that don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, but they want to perform better. They could have MCT oil and they'll see a difference in it.
Okay.
Beta alanine still in the morning. If you want, like NutriCost is fine. Actually, I'll send you the link for that one. I like your hydration 3 times a day, very similar to the last couple of days. 20 ounces water, 1/4 teaspoon electrolytes, baking soda, ultra cleanse. So we're still cleaning that gut out. And then you got your food to kind of maintain, because now we're trying to hold as much of that load we did the previous 2 days.
Okay. So this would be
Thursday, 2 days out.
2 days out, 180 grams of protein, 360 grams of carbs, and 60 grams of fat. Okay.
So Friday, we're 1 day out. I need you to, and I adjust this a little bit. It's going to be a little more fun. I get a little dirty the day before, so you can have a little more sodium, a little more fat. I still want your beta alanine first thing in the morning. I still want your 3 minimum, get those 3 drinks with electrolytes, baking soda. We'll do an ultra cleanse. But on this day, breakfast, I like, if you do fine with pancakes, you could do like 3 to 4 pancakes, 4 whole eggs, and then make sure you have butter, syrup, salt.
Okay.
So that'll be your first meal, probably 100 and some grams of carbs. If you want to keep it clean, you can keep it clean. I personally like dirtier meals like the day before.
Okay.
We still have a clean meal coming in at the second meal, 30 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat. Coming into lunchtime, subs are amazing if you digest, as depending on how your gut does with bread. A foot-long sub, meat, oil, salt.
Like a pub sub?
Yeah, a pub sub.
Yeah.
Amazing for when you're trying to like just top off the gas tank. You got your electrolytes, baking soda, and water. Clean meal between that. Last meal of the day prior to like a liquid meal, because you got to run early the next day. So I want to kind of have you do another high carb meal. You could pick, but I want to try to get 80 to 100 grams of carbohydrates. So I personally, the only thing kind of gets wishy-washy is like sushi. Like just make sure you go to a good place that you get good fish, so you're not sitting like getting food poisoning.
Right.
But you could do some sushi. You could do, a steak and potato. But the goal is to try to a couple potatoes, sweet potato.
Doesn't matter how much grams of protein that goes down with that.
Nah, I'm not worried. I just want to get the glycogen. So 80 to 100 grams carbohydrates. I used to be so meticulous with people, and then it was like, it's almost like they just like, oh, this sucks. Or like, I try to loosen up. It's at the end of the day, as long as I get your glycogen in for the day, because you're going to end up with roughly, you're going to be sitting around like 450 carbs for the day, 500, which
then is it saying to go to bed at 6 o'clock?
No, I wouldn't know. So it's not 6 o'clock. That's just the meal time.
Oh, okay.
So, but I cut you to 5 because you'll probably go to bed early. This might be 6, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
If you're going to go to bed at 9, right before you go to bed, I want a pre-bed drink. You're going to put electrolytes, but I want to do 50 grams of Carbolin. And I thought I put HBCD on there. And I was going to say another 50 grams of HBCD, which is 100 grams.
Okay.
So 50-50. Carbolin is a homopolysaccharide. It's basically a carbohydrate that shuttles like sugar, but it stays like a potato. Sure. And we're going to sprinkle that in on your like race day.
Okay.
And then HBCD, highly branched chain cyclic dextrin's a lot faster, but a lot cleaner, easy to digest. So if we could do 50-50, would be good with that. Okay. Flavor it up with your electrolytes and then go to sleep.
Got it.
All right. So coming into Saturday, this is where we'll stop depending on how because you run at 6:30, right?
6:30, yeah. I'll probably plan to wake up at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah. So if you're going to get up at 4, and like I said, I know you're cutting caffeine, so you can start using it during like the evening time, so it works. I do like caffeine in the morning, maybe a nicotine pouch early, go to the bathroom. I just want to get a good solid dump. So you're not having to worry about that while you're running.
Yeah, the plan for caffeine is probably about 10 days before the race. I'm going to start 14 days to start tapering off. By 10 days out of no caffeine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then that'll hit you like good. Yeah. So that and probably a nicotine pouch right when you wake up. Anywhere from 100 to 200 mgs. I'm going to give you extreme caffeine. It's super cheap, but they're by far the cleanest caffeine I've ever had. We'll use that. I do want your drink when you wake up is going to consist of 3 grams beta alanine, 32 ounces water, 50 grams carbs from Carbolin, 50 grams carbs highly branched cyclic dextrin, electrolytes, and a half teaspoon of baking soda.
Okay.
Depending on you, some people like to run with food in their gut. Some people don't want to run. So I would say something light, sourdough toast. You could do rye toast.
Yeah. What do you think about what I've been doing for most mornings and definitely for long runs is I'll do 2 pieces of sourdough toast, 4 eggs, bananas, and honey.
Yeah. So if whatever you've been doing, you feel fine with that you want to do before that meal. It's just, I like you to pick that.
Yeah. Cause my plan would be to wake up at 4, eat that by like 4:30. So I have at least 2 hours to digest.
Yep.
And then start at 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you're good with putting food in, I know some people are just like, nothing, I just want to go. Yeah.
For it, yeah.
So so have your meal that you want. Maybe whatever you normally would do, I'd cut that meal in half.
Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it too, I'm probably not going to be able to do that because
I was going to tell you something simple of like sourdough toast with a little bit of peanut butter just to coat the stomach. Have your drink.
Yeah, because I'm just not going to have a kitchen that morning is now what I'm thinking about. So, okay.
Yeah, it could be something simple. Sourdough toast, peanut butter, banana.
Yeah.
Freaking eat that. Put honey on there.
Yeah.
And then you're set.
Perfect.
Just to get something in the gut. Have your drink. And then we're set till we get into race day. Let's go back to the original structured one that we had. Tuesday, obviously we're loading big on Tuesday. 1.5 times saturation, 1 time saturation. Thursday, we're going to cut it down just to maintain that load. I think we're 75% saturation. If you go into Friday, we're going to somewhat carb. We could get a little bit loose on the food. Like I said, you might have that nice breakfast, that sub for lunch, dinner, whatever you choose, just trying to hit the carb numbers. And then Saturday, we just talked about, getting up, put something in your stomach, have your carbohydrate drink. That's going to give you 100 grams of carbs, set electrolytes, obviously put some hydration in you right then there. You should be fully glycogen loaded. You're going to have your electrolytes will be balanced, and you're going to have pretty much like beta alanine on board for when you start running, and the baking soda is going to hopefully delay all that. Okay. So, obviously, when we get into race day, we'll talk about this. That's a whole nother section that we could go over.
We are going to do a separate video on race day. So like intra-race nutrition, fueling, hydration, supplements. So tune back in to see that. If you have any questions, comment them down in the YouTube below, and we will get back to you.